some reason my internet sucks right now. Let's see here. The stream will stay up. Why is it awful? What the heck? Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Are we good with the internet? Or with the stream? It's so bad. Let me know if it's stuttering, but I'll just move forward as if it's not. We're gonna move forward if everything's okay, as if everything's okay. Hey, we're gonna take a look today at, performance optimization. I've had a few breakthroughs with the Twisted Tower demo performance optimization, and we've gotten a lot of like crash reports with stuff like Steam Deck, and I've always wondered like what would cause the crash, and turns out it's likely that it's just huge textures. Like we've got huge uncompressed textures in this game for no reason. So we're going to jump inside of Unity and take a look at this and see if this is going to help us at all. I wanted to say a huge thank you. Elisa Miles, Carlos, Steven, Jeffrey, Alexander, Thierry, Thomas, Anish, Sergio, and David. Welcome to Full-Time Game Dev. It means the world to me that you would trust me with your game dev career. So this is cool. It's a cool program actually because, well, I'll just show it to you here. For those of you who are curious, this is Full-Time Game Dev. There are 5 days left to join and get 25% off. And hey, I'll also give you a shout out in my next stream. It means the world to me that you guys would support the channel. This is, our sponsor for our streams is Full-Time Game Dev, and that is my course. So I sponsor myself. It's a great way. It's a great way to support your projects. If you could find a sponsor for yourself, definitely do it if you guys have a YouTube channel. But 25% off to get this, enroll in this massive program. Not only going to learn what I've done to make games. I'll teach you how to make games, Unity, Godot, Unreal, 2D or 3D. It doesn't matter. Take your pick. I'm also going to teach you how to secure funding, whether it's Kickstarter. I've done that multiple times, $100,000 each. The second one was like $85,000 with another $10,000 in a post campaign, so it was like $95,000. Pinstripe, my first Kickstarter campaign was like $106,000. I've also signed $100,000 deals plus with multiple publishers, Serenity Forge, Armor Games, 3D Realms. So I could show you how to do that as well. I've also hit the Steam front page multiple times. I just did it last week with one of my demos. So demos, full games, it doesn't matter. I've hit the Steam front page. I can show you how to do that. And I've also shown it to Chris Stair, Bart, Mamzar, Everflux Games. They all went full-time, which is awesome. Incredible reviews here. Check them out below. Also, Soltar went full-time, Antonio went full-time, Thomas Stewart went full-time. So check it out below to see if you're interested. 25% off for the next 5 days, depending on when you click that link. Once you click that link, the timer will start for you. So check it out below and see if it's something you're interested in. All right, guys. Hey, let's jump into Unity here and see what kind of interesting data we can get. Yesterday, this is so interesting. Yesterday, we were getting snapshot data of, this was today too, but it was around 15 gigabytes. A scene was 15 gigabytes. I was talking to Grok earlier about this, and I was like, "Hey, what's normal? What should I be aiming for here?" And Grok was saying something like for an indie game, something like 4 gigabytes. Now I kind of feel like 6 to 7 gigabytes is more reasonable. Let's ask Grok here. My game is more like a AA game, similar to BioShock. Do you think? Okay, I don't want to ask leading questions. What would be a good benchmark for that? Let's see what Grok says. Okay. You know what I would love? I would love to see a full screen window in my camera viewport so I could read the chat better. So let's see here. Good benchmark, 6 to 10 gigabytes. Total is a strong benchmark. Okay. With a 30 to 40 FPS. What about, would this be reasonable for a Steam Deck? Let's see what he says. Powell here. Okay, we've got Jason's story here and Powell. Both of you guys are going to help me out here. So, Jason's story. Do you agree with Grok here? Do we agree with Grok? And by the way, those of you who are curious, Thomas, why are you using Grok? Because I want to. I've tried a lot of different chat bots or LLMs or whatever, and Grok has actually been the best for me. Is 4 gigabytes reasonable? Yes. Well, let's see here. So I asked a question, and he gave me this huge. I assume you're asking whether a specific memory target, either your current 14 gigabyte scene, your proposed 4 gigabyte reduction, or 6 to 8. I need to know, yes or no, it is 8 gigabytes a good benchmark for my scene on a Steam Deck. All right, Jason, what do you think, buddy? What does Jason's story think? We've got Powell here as well. Powell, what do you think? Is Grok correct here? Sorry, my mic keeps falling. Let me see if I have a... Because I can get it down. I can get it down to 8 gigabytes. And by the way, what are we trying to solve here? Hitches, load time, and crashes on Steam Deck. Now, Jason and Powell, do you guys agree? Yes or no? Do you? Because I know you both are very smart. And in fact, Jason's story was helping me via email earlier today. Do you guys agree that we will see a reduction in crashes, hitches, and better load times if we drop it from 14 gigabytes, which what it was yesterday, to 8 gigabytes, especially for Steam Deck? Yes or no? Jason gives me this abstract answer so that he doesn't have to be on the hook for anything. He said, well, lower... I'm just kidding, by the way, Jason. Well, anyone whose name is Jason, I am really mean to in the chat, and I don't know why. Lowering texture memory is always a good thing, but I think it's multifactorial. I specifically think your set passes are a big factor too. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a sec. If we can focus on textures, my theory is, and this was true with Neversong, my previous game, it was singularly about textures, and all of a sudden performance increased. Sure, you can have all these other problems, but fortunately we have a lot of margin for bad development practices, because even the Switch, once I just reduced textures with Neversong, and I understand it's a 2D game, but when I reduced textures with Neversong, solved all of my problems. So my theory is we've got a 14 gigabyte scene here. What's happening is what's happening is we are getting 14 gigabytes, which is pushing the Steam Deck limit so close to its limit. And what it's doing is, according to Grok here, we had this, what did he say? He said, it's going to cause swapping or GPU bottlenecks, tanking frames per second. Do we agree? Jason, do we agree with this? Do we agree that 14 gigabytes of textures is causing swapping or GPU bottlenecks? Does that make sense? Grok is saying you're going to get a 20 FPS gain. I don't see that in Unity because I'm using a rock solid machine. So let's see what Paul says. Paul says, I agree with King Chicken. Grok does seem to be objectively the best AI chatbot, well designed for what it's supposed to be. I love it. I mean, I'm in it all day. Anyway, so Powell says it would help, but may not be the main reason for problems. That's fine. I'm not looking for. I'm looking for. Well, I guess what you're saying is it might not have a significant impact. We will send it off to the 3D Realms QA team tomorrow. But what I want to do here is I got to make some kind of commitment here to just reducing texture sizes, because it takes a while to do. So let's see here. What else we got? Loading 8 gigabytes at one moment versus loading it over some time is totally different. Yeah, we're loading it at one time, but we're also, let me ask you this, Powell and Jason. Do you guys think that activating a huge part of all it is an object activation? So we've got, like, let's say the second half of a level. You can activate it by just entering a trigger and it goes and appears. Reducing the texture size by half from 14 gigabytes to, let's say, 7, is that going to help with the hitching? Because that's causing the hitching. It's dropping down, there's a stutter, and then goes back up, and then everything's activated. Do you think that'll help with the hitching? See, I don't know any of these answers. That's why I'm asking questions. Optimization has never been my forte. So I love, and by the way, I'm super, super duper thankful to all of you for showing up and helping with this today. Okay. So according to Grok, we're going to see, according to Grok, it's going to be a significant impact for Steam Deck. So what do we got here? We've got 8.74 is our latest snapshot. Jason Story says, so textures are used, but in your case, you are changing the tip of the brush for every variation of every material. Jason, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means, man. In particular, think of it like painting. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't read your full thing. In particular, think of it like painting. You change the paint, the room, or the tool. Each one is a time issue and combined to answer the it takes too long for paint the room problem. So textures are used, but in your case, you are changing the tip of the brush for every variation of every material. Batching those will be a big factor. What I'm trying to do, though, Jason, is I'm trying to figure out how can I have a really, really crappy optimization of a game, but it runs fine. Like, I'm looking for the big thing that I can do quickly, as opposed to some refactoring of the process of how we're doing all this. What are the things that I can do instantly now that will give me the biggest bang for my buck, because I got to get this demo updated. It's not like we're getting a ton of complaints. I believe that if we optimize this thing, guys, if we optimize this so that it runs great on mid-range and also Steam Deck, we're going to get an overwhelmingly positive. Easy. So let's go ahead and hit... let's hit play here. Actually, let's go to our UI. I know for a fact our UI is massive. So if we go to our UI, because well, actually, let's double check the pickups, because I just compressed the pickups. The pickup UIs, when you pick up something, it was like, I think it was like 100 megabytes. So let's see if it looks bad. Let's go to 4K here and double check. Let's see. Oh, it looks great. The pickups are a little bit blurrier, but I don't mind it. Oh yeah, they're fine. And so we could definitely compress down the UI. What we don't want to do is we don't want to reduce the pixel size, but we do want to use compression. So I'm going to do that for all of our UI here. Let's start with this. Look at this. Low quality compression. Oh, really? That's 26.7 megabytes. I didn't know I was doing that with that. Might as well use crunch compression as well. Let's do that and see if we can get it even smaller. So was it 20? So let's see what we get. Okay, Jason, I will take a look, I promise. Give me just a sec here. I wanted to wrap up this task here, and then we'll go from there. So we have a bunch of UI stuff here we need to adjust. Look, that just went down to 1.1 megabytes, which is unbelievable. Crunch compression is amazing. Okay, so software engineer here. After quick Google about Steam Deck, I see it uses RAM for VRAM, and it seems to have 16 gigabytes. So if you allocate a 14 gigabytes for your scene, at some point it may crash if RAM runs out. Bingo. And that's what we're getting. We're getting reports that the Steam Deck is crashing or just doing crazy stutters. My theory is it's literally just texture compression. Because the main issues we're getting is people want to play on Steam Deck. And if it's going over 14 gigabytes, it's going to start stuttering and crashing, right, guys? And by the way, a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, my word, Thomas, do you have to go through every single texture and fix this like you're doing with the UI? And the answer is no. So Grok wrote me a really cool tool yesterday that I just used. It's called Texture Crunch Compressor. This thing is amazing. Guys, it is so important for you to understand the frickin' value of these chatbots and these LLMs, because editor tools, I'm so sorry. I love every indie game developer and software engineer, but guys, I'll be completely honest. It is getting scary out there for people who have jobs in the game industry specifically, where your job is to write editor tools, because this thing was written in 20 seconds and it's amazing. It compresses every texture in the game, and and it makes sure that all the normal maps are correct. It also applies crunch compression. It allows me to choose which scene it happens in. It's outrageous. So my theory is, be the person who knows how to use a variety of tools to, well, what would you call it? With indie games in particular, your job is to curate assets and tools to create a great product. And so we're going to have to use AI. It's just going to have to happen. Now, when it comes to AI art, I just refuse right now. I'm not going to touch it. When it comes to 3D AI art, I'm not going to touch it. AI music, not going to touch it. Because I just feel like that's getting way too close to home for me. But when it comes to these tools, and maybe that's just hypocritical of me, but when it comes to these tools, you got to use it. I'm not smart at all, Programmer Rate. I'm not smart at all. I'm really good at curating things and creating great stories and atmospheres. I am not smart at all. If you look at my project, it's a bloated mess. But I know how to make a good product, an end product. If you open up, I've always said this, if you open up the hood of my projects, you're going to wonder how the hell I made a product that's profitable. It's so backwards, but we live in a day and age when you can get away with that. And Jonathan Blow would kill me for saying that, and probably Jason's story as well. So anyway, sorry, I got to text my wife here. Okay. It's not based, King Chicken. It's just reality. AI. It's coming so fast. It's like a freight train, and we got to be prepared. All of us, everybody has got to be prepared. My theory is the artisans, the curators, the people who have taste. Those are the people who survive. So we need to all focus on having really good taste and know how to curate things and know how to find the right tools to make something quick, unlike what I'm doing right now. Let's see here. UI. So look at all this UI stuff. We've got UI, that's 2.2 megabytes with no crunch compression. So all of these we're going to just throw on some crunch compression, and we should see a significant reduction. I'm going to do it with everything here. App icon. Oh, Cracker Jacks. Hang on. We're going to discard that. I want to select everything here. Anything that's UI, I'm just going to quickly use crunch compression on. Logos for splashes. Controls, all this stuff. We're going to just crunch compression. Crunch compression I found this to be true with Neversong. I don't fully understand crunch compression, but it's sort of a magic bullet. If you throw it on your UI, it's pretty amazing. It doesn't really change anything how things look, but it significantly reduces your memory. I don't know why. Let's go ahead and use crunch compression on that. We're going to do 50%. Hit apply. That's going to take a while, guys, so I can jump into the chat. Crunch compression only reduces size on hard drive, not in memory. You might be right. You might be right. But whenever I do these snapshots, I'm seeing half. Why is it that when I do a snapshot, it goes to half of what the size is? The total resident is half. Why is that? If what you're saying is true, I don't pretend to be smart here. I'm genuinely curious. If what you're saying is true, why are my snapshots half the size after crunch compression? Does that make sense? Okay, look. We just went from 1 megabyte to 276 kilobytes. Yo, or Joe, you said, how'd the compression of yesterday go? We got the tool written, and now we're seeing, significant size reduction. 8 gigabytes of 31. I'm sorry, 8 gigabytes when it was almost 14 and a half. So, significant reduction. I don't know if that's real. That's what I'm struggling with. I'm like, is that real? They get uncompressed on the GPU. If that were true, I'm serious. If that were true, when I got really close to them, they shouldn't look different. That looks different. You can tell this is crunch compressed. So you can see it. Like, you can see what happens. So I don't know. But let's go ahead and hit play here, and let's look at our latest snapshot. It feels too good to be true. That's right. Okay, so remember yesterday we were at 14 gigabytes. We're going to take a snapshot here. I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to snapshot it. So we were at 8.74, but remember we just compressed a ton of our UI. So, or not compressed, yeah, crunch compressed a ton of our UI. So we're gonna look and do a snapshot here and see if we're getting any better numbers. Because my aim is something like 7 or 8. Guys, and if I sound smart right now, just know I'm a really good talker and I'm a really good salesman. I know this about myself. I've known this since I can come across very confident. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of going with my gut. No, wrong. Random name. This is where I will confidently say, I love you and I appreciate you, and I think I really do want you to succeed. And so I'm going to tell you it to your straight. It doesn't matter if it's a PSD or a PNG. When Unity brings it in, it converts it to a PNG. Keep your artwork as PSDs. The only problem here is project size, not build size. Keep everything as a PSD and a blend file. Keep it, because you're going to be able to edit it on the fly. Unity, when it imports it, it will convert it to a PNG. Guys, I got to take a phone call. Okay, 1 sec. Give me a sec. I might have to take another phone call in a sec, but we can keep working here. So what do we got here? What do we got here, guys? If crunch is a lossy compression method, then it would degrade in image quality, right? and could possibly reduce in memory size on the GPU. Either way, it would explain this. Omer says, you said I'm good on camera, but if you know me in real life, you would think otherwise. Why is that? I don't know. I just know that I have friends, and I have a lot of friends where I'm not particularly... I think it has to do with being in person. Like, I think that if I were to meet you in person, I'd get nervous. And so I'd probably act a little differently. Whereas I'm talking to a camera right now in my office. Okay, guys, so that snapshot, please God, why is it at 11.2 gigabytes all of a sudden? Wait, what? All of a sudden the snapshot is higher. That is so weird. Is it the stones? It might be these. That really sucks. What happened? I don't understand why all of a sudden it's big again. Right? What just happened? Let's select it and see what the culprit is. Now, I was gonna say I have a lot of friends who feel awkward around me, meaning like the majority of my friends that I do have feel awkward. I don't have a lot of friends. Now, I'm not saying I'm wearing a mask. I'm saying that the mask comes on probably in person. This is real. In person, I feel like I have to wear a mask. All right, so let's figure this annoying thing out. What is eating up my RAM? What is that? Malloc persistent? What is that? Wouldn't it be hilarious if this was just because it's the Unity engine and we're in the editor? I don't understand what this is. Okay, so we got 3.84 gigabytes of textures. All of that makes sense to me. All of a sudden, we've got this huge 16 gigabytes. Malloc is dynamic memory allocation. I'm going to do another snapshot because I don't believe this snapshot. What is happening? You know, I don't know what's happening here. It's frozen too. Man, it's frozen now. I don't understand. Look how good this is right here. This one over here, 4.4 gigabytes. Could it be it's the resolution? No. There's no way. Shroomcraft says, I loved Brave Boy. Thank you. Yeah. We're still dealing with performance issues today. I don't understand why that snapshot is big now. It's almost like what it was before we did all the crunch compression. You know? We're going to do another snapshot. Get better insights by building and profiling. Oh. Yeah. We may need to do a build, which sucks, you know. This is a lot more complicated than I expected. Jay Stewart, use your grapple hook and the coil will turn on the grapple targets. It's like Zelda. But we're going to take a I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what's going on, honestly. Omer, go pull the blue lever. Okay, we got another snapshot, baby. Now it's even more. 12.54. What is happening? Yeah, I think you might be right. I think it's because it's 4K. I think we're not getting accurate data here. Oh, man. I don't think we're getting accurate data here, guys. Why is it that when I take a memory, or when I take a memory snapshot, I'm asking Grok here with the memory profiler. Sometimes it's 12 gigabytes and sometimes it's 8. And I didn't change anything. Garbage collection, texture mesh loading states, bitmap and streaming, profiler overhead, runtime. Okay. Bitmaps. Oh my word. No, I don't want to add a stabilization script. This is so annoying. Let's do it at 1080p and see what that number is. That's going to be really funny. Yeah, let's do 1080p and see what happens. If it significantly changes, now we know that we need to compare 4K or 1080p. So let's try that. Let's do a snapshot here. Capture one there. Texture memory, you can compare between snapshots. I think you're right. I think we need to go into the granular data and look at the texture sizes. I think that's probably the best bet. I'm actually shocked by how much this varies here. You know? So, yeah, pretty shocked by that. Let's let this cut here, or capture here. Oh man. Okay, so we've got a new snapshot here, and it's 11.8. So the different screen sizes don't matter. Isn't that strange, guys? Look at this. How did I achieve 4.41 yesterday? How did that happen? I'm so confused. That was yesterday. No, we had lights, we had everything. I don't understand. Okay, so let's go to our Unity objects here. And we're looking at, let's see here, guys. 0.85 gigabytes. So what's hogging this? So confused. My brain hurts today. By the way, those of you just joining us, if you want to learn how to make indie games from your bedroom and do it full time, it's actually possible, even if you're a dummy like me. It's actually possible. So click the link below to check out full-time game dev and get 25% off. And by the way, if you're a student, let me know in the chat what you think about the program. Links below, 25% off. The moment you click that link, you'll have 5 days to enroll for 25% off. So look, it says texture 2D is 3.79 gigabytes, which, you know, I don't know. Is that a problem? I don't know. I'm going to almost kind of just go with my gut here, guys. And I'm just going to compress all these textures. I mean, they should be compressed, right? What I want to ask Grok is, what does crunch compression even mean? Is it real? As a Unity game optimizer, explain what crunch compression is, confirm that it's very real, and show how it applies to your okay, give me some. You don't have to be so aggressive, man. Graphics is at 6.6 gigabytes. We'll do a build and then we'll connect it to the profiler. We'll do that. So what's native? Real quick, I'm looking at all of memory tab on the memory profiler. What is native and what is graphics? I think this is going to be very helpful to me. This tab shows a high-level breakdown of your game's total memory usage split into categories like native, graphics, managed. Native, that's allocated to Unity's engine. So game objects, meshes, native buffers, texture metadata. Typically 1 to 3 gigabytes in a AA scene. But we're looking at 27. What is that? The Unity subsystem? Is that what is the Unity subsystem? I'm doing great, Scary. Powell, you probably clicked the link 5 days ago. So if you want to enroll, email thomas@fulltimegamedev.com and we'll get you enrolled. We'll extend it for you. It says, it means in the memory, wait, it's not a well-documented category, but based on memory profile behavior, it typically appears under the system used memory. It's a catch-all for native memory not tied to specific assets. What? It's abnormal. Well, gee, thanks, Grok. Yeah, I believe that. My theory was it was editor. We're going to restart the editor. We're going to restart the editor. And what we'll do is we'll do a build, and we're going to go from there. But let's go ahead and read what Grok said about crunch compression. Crunch compression is a lossy texture compression technique in Unity built on top of standard formats. It's designed to shrink texture file size and memory usage beyond what traditional compression achieves, making it a go-to for performance optimization, especially on memory-constrained devices like Steam Deck. I almost feel like Grok's just telling me what I want to hear. Start with this, and then do all this. So if we start here, we can crunch it. We can compress it further, right? Quality loss, import time. Oh yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah. No, we're not using addressables right now. It sure feels like I'm being gaslit. Okay. Well, let's open up Unity, do one more snapshot. Let's compress the textures down with an actual compressor as opposed to simply just using crunch compression. And we're going to go from there, okay? But we're going to need to make some changes to our editor tool that compresses our textures down. Yeah, exactly, Lau. Lau says, of course Grok's going to tell you what you want to hear. That's what LLMs do. Exactly. I totally agree. All right, we're going to do a snapshot here. And we're going to see what we get. And we're at 1920 by 1080. I mean, all I really want is consistency, you know? I don't even care if it's 14 gigabytes. I just want it to be consistently 14 gigabytes and not randomly give me 8. Why would I turn off MIP maps? Gen Z Virus says, I will repeat, Thomas. Memory profiler might track mainly RAM, not just VRAM. Okay. In every sprite, there's a crunch compression checkbox. Okay. You know, it's funny. We started getting bigger numbers the moment we used crunch compression on the sprites, which makes no sense to me. Oh my word. Look at this. 5 gigabytes? I would rather it be 12. I would rather it be 12. What the hell is this place? I'm just looking at everything here. So you can see crunch compression right there. Like, you can literally see it. You can't see it there. I wonder why those didn't compress down. How's our, yeah, looks good. Just looking at all the UI, guys. Looks good. Let's keep going and see if there's any weird stuff. You know, we're probably just gonna have to send this off to QA and see what's going on. If they report, you know, frames per second, load times, all that, if they report that it's better, it's better, and I can't argue with it, you know. That doesn't look like it's compressed at all.
Welcome to the Twisted Tower, where your wildest dreams will bloom and flower through sleep halls.
Yeah, Midnight, I actually agree with you there.
You'll squeal more
One of those days, huh? Every day is one of those days with games. It's just the way it is. Okay, let's take a look at I think we could probably compress things down more, and you're not going to see a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to something like the poster of Charlotte here, and I'm going to see if I can compress this down. So what do we got here currently? Are we using crunch compression? Yes. What's the format? Automatic. I'm going to ask Grok. Well, okay, we're looking at 0.8 megabytes. Now, that sounds great. But my theory is, I bet you it could be significantly less. Let's do 16-bit. That's 10 megabytes. Wow. I see. If we go back here, you cannot use crunch compression with RGB32. Very interesting. Very interesting. I see. That's good to know. So crunch compression, it only appears when you got automatic selected. Now, if we set the compression to low, we're going to go from 0.8 to 0.8. It doesn't matter. Let's see if there's a quality difference. Normal. There's no difference. If we go to high, it's 5 megabytes. If we go to normal, it's 0.8. If we go to low, it's nothing. Now, if we do crunch compression at 25, watch what happens. Nothing. What about 0? What? Oh yeah, you can see it now. Here, let's try again. I want to show you guys. You see that? Here's 100. It's almost like it doesn't matter. And it drops all the way down to 0.6 megabytes. So I would just say, you know, let's for example, let's look at this wall here. I'm looking for the standard so that I can apply the standard across the board with every scene. You know, just have a standard. This is what crunch compression we're going to use, and then just bang, do it across the board. Now, when you've got normal maps will cheat it. So you want to make sure that your normal maps, they're going to make it look better than it actually is. So we're going to do 10. But let's be a little bit sane here. Let's do 20. Use crunch compression is true. Oh my. Wait, one sec. We're going to revert. One of these doesn't have crunch compression applied. I see, because it's not used in this scene. Okay. But anyway, let's go ahead and the stonework. There it is, this one. We're going to take this and we're going to use crunch compression. We're going to use 10. We're going to set it to 10 and hit apply. Now, adjusting the size is definitely going to help, right? That's definitely going to help. Because the max size I set was 4,000 something. That's pretty big, you know? So why did I do that? Because some objects really need it, like the stones. But I would argue most objects in this scene do not need to exceed 2,000 pixels. Look at that. It looks great. For an indie game, that's fine. All right. So what are the standards, my friends? I'm going to write this down. That the standard should be max size. I mean, guys, look at this. Watch. If I set this max size to 1024, let's see what happens. I mean, it looks pretty nasty, right? But do we care, you know? Performance always wins. If that makes a significant, let's look at the difference between one texture. For example, let's go to Charlotte here and we'll do 2048 versus like 1024, and we're just going to see what it does in terms of its size. Okay, let's try her. All right, Charlotte. You know, we've got one little poster in this whole scene is almost a megabyte. So what would happen? It's 0.6. So what would happen if I said, no, I want you 512? Tiny file size, 45 kilobytes. You guys can't see it because my face is in the way. That's 163. The moment I go to 2048, it's 0.6. So do we agree? Do we all agree that do we agree, guys, that when I'm playing this game, I'm going to stand like right here, right? Do we agree that this is not okay? Or is that okay? You know? I don't know. It's a little 1999. Well, they can stand right here and see that, yeah. But what do we think? Yay or nay? Yes, this is fine. No, this is not fine. Well, 0.6 is very small, but $10 is very small. But if you spend $10 on McDonald's every day for a full year, it's a lot. And the same is true with this. We've got thousands of scenes, or thousands of objects and textures. Derek says, don't worry about file size. That's the whole point of this stream. We're trying to reduce the file size because we're getting crashes. Looks fine to you? Let's enter play mode and take a look. It's not bad. I think you guys might be right. I think I should just make it the standard 1024, and then the stuff that looks really bad, you can go in and clean up manually. But like, look at this. Like in 4K, if I were to take this and go, no, I want it to be 1024 at a crunch compression of 25. That's going to be a significant reduction in file size. At what cost visually? Look at that. What do we think? Is that fine for an indie game, guys? I'm thinking about this the standard here. Max size 1024, 25 crunch compression. I think it's fine. What about the carpet there? Let's try the carpet. I'm about to have an epiphany, as Michael Scott would say. And yes, I just referenced The Office because I'm getting old. I'm having a blast today, guys. What about this? The confetti. Let's try the confetti. What happens if I set that to 1024 at 25? It's not horrible. I mean, it's an indie game. Right? We care about performance above all. That's what I care about. What about this hammer? And if I'm gonna quickly, if it helps, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compress everything down to 1024. I'm gonna do 25 crunch compression. I'm gonna export it. I'm gonna send it off to the QA team, and if they get significant boost in performance, we've officially won. I'm gonna have them check Steam Deck and see load times. I'm gonna see hitching. I'm gonna see if there's any crashes, and we'll go from there. Hang tight, y'all. Look. Let's jump to 4K. I can't even see a difference with the hammer. And let's compare. I want to just compare this. That's 156 kilobytes versus what it was, which is half a megabyte. Yeah, which makes sense. Man, we can reduce the file size of this game to a quarter, potentially. So let's do this. I'm going to take a look at the demo file size now. So the Twisted Tower demo file size is 9 gigs. So what we need to do here is we need to go to our tools here, texture crunch compressor, and we're going to do 1024. We're going to do 0.25, and we're going to pick only the scenes in the demo. And again, this tool was made by Grok. It's a great tool. Oh man, asset store, people who sell assets that are tools, they're going to get hit pretty hard financially. I promise you, I don't grovel in that. I think that that's sad, but it's just the way it is. So, you know, I would rather have a baseline of like something low, like 80% of the assets are 1024 with crunch compression. I would rather that be the case and then go and nitpick various things that we need to, that looked horrible, and then you just bump those up. But most things are going to look fine. Floor 1, floor 2. No, there's no floor 2. Floor 0, menu, floor 1, exterior, and then also the demo ender. These are the only scenes that matter to me. So I'm going to go ahead and apply crunch compression on those. And that's going to take, let's say, probably an hour. So I'm going to wrap up here, guys. Thank you for joining the live stream today. This video is sponsored, this stream is sponsored by Full-Time Game Dev, which is my course that teaches you everything I've learned in the last decade of not only going full-time indie, but also making indie games. So if you want to learn how to obviously make games in Godot, Unity, Unreal, 2D or 3D, it doesn't matter, take your pick. And if you also want to learn how to turn a demo into a paycheck, which I've done that 3 times in a variety of ways, including Kickstarter and publishers, check out the link below. And also I teach how to obviously market your game, reach out to press, reach out to streamers, hit the Steam front page. I've done all of this stuff, so you're actually learning from somebody who actually knows what he's talking about. I'm not perfect, and obviously, guys, I can't promise anything, but I can just tell you what I've done. You know, I've been making indie games as a full-time gig for a long time. I'm currently published by 3D Realms, Armor Games, Serenity Forge. So, hey, I think I know a little bit about this, and so if you're interested in learning from an indie game developer on how to do this as a job, I can teach you how to do it. Hey, 25% off, 3 days left, but depends on when you click the link. If you click it for the first time, you'll have 5 days total. If you clicked it yesterday, you have 4 days. But hey, Chris went full-time. Bart went full-time. Everflux Games went full-time. Soltar went full-time. Antonio, Thomas Stewart. It's pretty amazing, actually, because it's tough. You know, it's tough to go full-time. But hey, if you want to learn all of the sort of my roadmap, check out the link below. It's definitely worth an investment in your future. Join 4,500 students worldwide. I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out and being so helpful. Man, this was such a